Couch Casual, where today I'm going to be starting a mini series where I preview every single division, or hence every single team. And today we are going to start with, as you can see by the current screen here and the title, the AFC East will be the first division that we will be doing. And before we get started, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you comment what you disagree with, agree with, as this is a free discussion channel. And also hit the subscribe button as well so you can keep up to date with all the amazing content in sports or football talk here at Couch Casual. But without further ado, let's get into this AFC East preview for the upcoming season. First team we are going to talk about is the New England Patriots. And I'm just going to go over the depth chart and then sort of pick specific players like the best player, rookies, and then record. So first we have the Patriots offensive depth chart. Now obviously it says Jacoby Brissett's the starter, but I would assume that Drake May starts. Obviously the rookie first round pick that they took in this year's draft. I like Drake May. I think he'll be pretty good, much better than Mac Jones in my opinion. I think he is, at least going into his rookie season, the second best quarterback in the draft. But I think he has maybe the worst situation out of the 5 first round picks. And as a Panther fan, I know that can definitely hurt a quarterback. So I hope that does not hurt Drake May as much as I unfortunately think it could. At the running back position, they obviously have Ramondre Stevenson, who I think he's all right. I'm not too high on Ramondre. The receiver core obviously is very deep, but they don't have any top guys, but they have a lot of good receivers. Like Kendrick Bourne's a good receiver. I don't mind Osborne and Douglas. They obviously drafted Polk and Baker. Juju's not bad. It's just like a hodgepodge of good to okay receivers, and I feel like that might not be good for a rookie quarterback. Obviously, they do have Hunter Henry, who's a very good tight end, in my opinion. Austin Hooper, didn't know he was still playing. He's their backup. And their O-line is decent. You got Onwenu, Cole Strange. That's pretty much it. But, I like the direction, obviously, getting Drake May, drafting the 2 rookie receivers, but I think it could be a rough rookie season for Drake May, just given the supporting cast he has around him. And then moving on to the defense for the Patriots, obviously, their secondary is pretty decent. They got the really good safety duo in Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers. They also have standout corner, who was a rookie last year, Christian Gonzalez. Didn't play much, but when he did, he was unbelievable. Probably, in my opinion, would have won Defensive Rookie of the Year if he didn't get injured. I don't think that's a hot take or anything, but he was by far the best rookie corner and one of the better rookies on defense. And they also got Jonathan Jones and Marcus Jones as well, solid corners. Of course, they got their front 7 headlined by guys like Judon and Barmore. Barmore, I think, just got a big extension. Their linebackers are so-so, in my opinion. I do like Bentley. They do have I like Marte Mapu. I think he's he's like a safety linebacker. I like him. So yeah, I think their defense, they don't have Bill Belichick anymore, the defensive guy, but they obviously have they brought in the former Patriots player, Gerard Mayo, to be their new coach, defensive guy. So hopefully that defensive identity stays, because that's what the Patriots are known for. They have the pieces to have a usual really good, really solid Patriots defense. I think their offense will struggle. And that's where I get to the overall prediction for this team. I have them finishing at 4-13. Again, I think it could just be a rough season for Drake May, given his supporting cast. I like Drake May. and I hope the rookies they draft develop, and I hope they can build on that offense to eventually have him as to develop into a very good quarterback. I have the MVP for the Patriots being Matthew Judon. He's obviously a very good veteran pass rusher who's put up good numbers before. That also makes him my defensive player of the year. Offensive player of the year for the Patriots, I have Kendrick Bourne. It was him or Hunter Henry because I feel like Drake May as a rookie could look for Henry a lot, just as like that security guy, because Hunter Henry might be their best player on offense, at least skill position wise. He might be the best on there. And then the rookie of the year for the Patriots, I have Drake May. I think, although a rough season, I still think he's potentially the second best quarterback in the first round or overall draft class. I don't think he'll have a bad season, but I just don't think he'll put up like CJ Stroud numbers. I don't think he'll put up terrible numbers. I think he can get over 3,000 yards, but the picks might be a little high maybe. I don't know. I just look at the supporting cast. So that's my overall prediction for the Patriots, finishing 4-13. And the next team we have is the New York Jets. The whole storyline with Aaron Rodgers coming back after his injury. They had all these high hopes, and that kind of just didn't get a chance to fulfill themselves with the Aaron Rodgers injury, but he is obviously back now. And I think they will have a much more successful season. So looking at the offense, obviously we mentioned Aaron Rodgers. He's coming back from his injury. Now, he apparently could have came back that season if they made the playoffs, so I would assume that means he's close, like he's almost fully recovered, if not already. So he should be good for the season, I would think. And obviously you have Breece Hall, who a lot of people are high on, including myself. A lot of people, I think, are like predicting a big season for Breece Hall. They, of course, drafted Braylon Allen, who I liked out of Wisconsin. They obviously have Garrett Wilson, another guy people think could have that superstar potential, that star Pro Bowl level jump, because he now has a good quarterback, hopefully, for a whole season. Mike Williams is obviously a good veteran jump ball receiver. I liked Malachi Corley somewhat out of the draft. So you get him with Aaron Rodgers' old friend Lazard. Obviously, Allen Lazard isn't the best receiver, but I feel like when Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball, he is a much better receiver, and he didn't have that last year. So Allen Lazard could actually be a pretty decent receiver just because Aaron Rodgers is there. Aaron Rodgers just makes everybody a better receiver. Tight end is so-so. Tyler Conklin's whatever. They obviously signed Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses, two veteran tackles. They drafted Fashanu to sort of sit behind them for a year. To then come in, they got Vera Tucker, John Simpson. Their O-line wasn't the best last year, if I remember, at least the tackle, because they had like the whole, like, what are they going to do with Mekhi Becton? But they have veterans there, so hopefully Rodgers doesn't get injured week one. He plays the whole season, and they can actually have a good offense with him, Breece, and Garrett Wilson. Now moving on to the defense, where they are really good at. They obviously have Jermaine Johnson, who I had as my for my breakout player for the Jets. Quinnen Williams is really good. Hassan Reddick, as long as he reports to camp, he's really good. They still have C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams, brother of Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, an amazing secondary with him, DJ Reed. Their defense will still be really good, and as long as Aaron Rodgers is fine from his injury, I don't see the offense being very bad either. But they are in a tough division with the Bills and the Dolphins, so I do have them finishing at a 9-8 record. Aaron Rodgers taking the MVP. However, I do have Breece Hall as the offensive player of the year. It was him, Rodgers, or Garrett Wilson, but I could see. I think I actually predicted Breece Hall for my dark horse rushing yard leader this season. So that's, if he puts up those numbers, I'm sure he would be the best player on offense. And then MVP is sort of going to be heavy towards the quarterback as it is for the real MVP award. Defensive player of the year, it's Sauce Gardner or Quinnen Williams. I'm just going to give it to Sauce because he's just been an elite corner ever since he got drafted. And then Rookie of the Year, I actually went with Malachi Corley. I don't know how much Fashanu's going to play. I feel like despite the receiver room having Wilson, Mike Williams, and Lazard, I feel like Corley could have a sneaky, decent year, especially with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. The third team we have in the AFC East is the Miami Dolphins. If you couldn't guess, this is in order of how I think they're going to finish. So that does mean that I think the Bills will be the best team, but I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. But quickly looking at the Dolphins offense, obviously Tua. How far can Tua take this team? I still think Tua is a decent quarterback. I don't know if he's the quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl, but if Nick Foles can win a Super Bowl, I definitely think Tua can. They obviously have the running back duo of Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. They also drafted Jalen Wright, who I like. Obviously, Tyreek Waddle. They also picked up Odell Beckham. He's not Giants Odell Beckham, but he's still a quality receiver. I think as long as he can get back to how he played in the Super Bowl for the Rams, the Dolphins will be perfectly fine because he probably could have won Super Bowl MVP if he didn't get injured that game. Jonnu Smith at tight end, he's decent. And then their O-line, they did lose Robert Hunt in free agency, but they still have Teron Armstead. Isaiah Wynn isn't a bad guard. It's not the best O-line, but with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mostert, Achane, and Tua, their offense is going to be really good. Top half of the league, I'd say. And then moving on to their defense, their front seven, I think is okay. They also have Jalen Phillips, who I really like. They also drafted Chop Robinson, so he can. It says he's the second string, but I would assume maybe he gets a lot of starter reps this season. They still have Bradley Chubb. Who knows how that trade's gonna look in a few years. Shaq Barrett, they signed him. Their secondary, I think, is really good. You obviously still have Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland, but you signed Jordan Poyer, division rival. Kendall Fuller's a decent corner. Marcus May I still think Marcus May can give you some good play. So their defense, I think their secondary will be very good. Their front seven might be okay, and they'll probably have somewhat of an average defense. But I think that offense, the coaching, and their defense won't be that bad. So I have the Dolphins getting 10 wins, finishing 10-7. Now, I did not have the MVP go to Tua. I did have it go to Tyreek Hill because he almost had 2,000 yards last season. I don't see why he won't get 1,500 plus again, 10 plus touchdowns. Defensive Player of the Year, I almost wanted to put Jalen Phillips because I think he could have a very good breakout season, but I did go with Jalen Ramsey because one of the better corners in football still, in my opinion. And then Rookie of the Year, as I mentioned, I think Chop Robinson could get some starter reps, even though it says he's second string. So I have him finishing as the Dolphins' best rookie. And then lastly, but not least, we have the Buffalo Bills, who I think will be the best team in this division. That's obviously not a surprising take. Looking at offense, they obviously have Josh Allen, franchise quarterback, one of the best in the league. Not much to say there. I really like James Cook, Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Now, the receiver room is a little interesting. I really like Khalil Shakir, though. I like Khalil Shakir. Keon Coleman, obviously, the rookie from Florida State. Curtis Samuel being back in Joe Brady's offense, I could see having a very good season. I had him as my Bills breakout player. Their depth at receiver, they have names. Mac Hollins, Chase Claypool, Scantling, KJ Hamler, Andy Isabella. Like, they have names, but I don't know how good those names are. But you saw what happened with Patrick Mahomes. He loses Tyreek Hill, and they win 2 Super Bowls. So I know Josh Allen has his turnover issues, but maybe without Diggs and knowing his receiver core is, or even Gabe Davis, maybe he'll be a little careful and maybe he'll have a very good season, maybe even get to the Super Bowl. Who knows about winning it, but we all thought Mahomes wasn't going to do anything when he lost Tyreek Hill, so people may be saying that about Josh Allen losing Diggs. but it might not matter as much as you think. And their O-line, they've brought Deion Dawkins back after whatever happened in this offseason with him. Osiris Torrance, Connor McGovern. It's a solid O-line. It'll probably get the job done. Josh Allen is just going to run away anyway, so. But you have Josh Allen. Your offense is going to be good. And then defensively, they obviously lost a lot of pieces. Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. They still have Rasul Douglas. They brought Mike Edwards in the secondary. Their secondary isn't terrible. It's obviously much worse. Their front seven, though, I really like, with Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinenza. Epinenza? Is that how you say it? They still have Von Miller on their team. And Matt Milano is still a very solid linebacker. Deion Jones has played good football in the last year or two. So I don't hate their defense. It'll still be good. And as we figured out, I do have the Bills as the best team in this division, finishing 11-6. It is still a tough division. They still have a tough schedule. They still have to play teams like the Chiefs, I believe, the Ravens, because they did win the division last year. But I do have them winning the division at 11-6. MVP, I did give it to Josh Allen, as well as Offensive Player of the Year. Again, not much to be said. It's Josh Allen. Defensive Player of the Year, I went with Ed Oliver. I think he'll have a high tackle and TFL season. And then Rookie of the Year, I went Keon Coleman. He, right now, is, I would say, the third best receiver on the team. So, I gave it to him. And that brings us to our sort of concluding standings here. As you can see, I have the Bills going 11-6, Dolphins 10-7, Jets 9-8, and the Patriots rounding out with a rough 4-13. But that is my quick overview or preview for the AFC East for this upcoming season. Again, in the comments, let me know what you agree with, disagree with, and also, again, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next preview next time. Peace.